What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Eskandy Sports Podcast. We've been gone for a while doing the Vegas trip. You guys did awesome in Vegas. 916 are the subscribers right now as of recording, so we're really close to that 1K. Steve, it was supposed to be 1K by May, and then maybe 2K by June.
2023 in May.
But at some point, we're going to hit it, and I think we're going to hit it soon. But without any further delay, Steve.
What's up?
It's been a long time coming. I say that about a lot of people, but I feel like I've been chasing you for a year.
I want to say 13 months.
13
Since Burloak started.
Oh, yeah.
I think right around there.
Well, yeah, because I wanted to interview the people that I knew and I knew you. And we've been friends for a while now, and just finally.
I had a lot of doctor's appointments, a lot of things to do in between now and the last 13 months that stopped me, but finally.
It's all good. We're here now, and congratulations. New head coach of Fort Erie International. Red is Charles's team.
Red is Charles. Fort Erie International Academy.
So you got the OG name.
Yeah.
Did you write that in the contract? How did you get that?
Behind the scenes discussions, we were deciding what we're going to do, what we're going to name.
I just picture you walking into Charles's office with a baseball bat, be like, hey, I've got 3 demands. One of them is I am for you. So let's start with the journey to there. How long have you been in the coaching game?
5 years.
5 years. What was the first destination?
Burlington Force, U17 Team 2.
And what division is that?
Division 11 OBA basketball.
How was that team?
I mean, I love the kids. I love the people around them, the families, coaches. Coach John Trevor was nice enough to bring me in and help out.
Yeah.
Team basketball-wise, it was a long journey with those guys. We started off our very first game, played Pelham. They're the #1 team in Division 2 the year before. And we're kind of like, okay, we're Division 11, they're Division 2. We ended up leading for most of that game or back and forth.
Yeah.
We lost that game by 2. So we're like, okay, wow, we're there.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the weekend, we lost 2, 1-1 versus Guelph. And then the next tournament, I think we were down 30-2.
Yeah.
In the second quarter versus Whitby Saints.
So the wheels fell off after that home opener.
And that was one of the moments where I was on the sideline as standing head coach. I was the assistant coach. I was just like, I don't know, is my face going red here right now? There's just nothing I can draw up and nothing I can do.
Yeah.
There's a talent gap that was there. But they were nice enough. They bought in. By the COVID hit, maybe 2 months, 3 months after working together with that team.
Yeah.
And they were just starting to hit strides. I think we played Milton Stags. We went to overtime, won that game. We were just getting ready to go to the States, Buffalo, and COVID hit. And that was that. I was training a little bit with Eddie, Excel Hoops. He was nice enough to bring me in at Loyola and Mississauga. And then we went from there, and COVID hit, just shut down everything.
So how old are you when you're standing head coach, assistant coach at Burlington?
27 now.
Yeah.
So that's what. COVID makes it seem like time paused. I can't even.
We've been in COVID for 3 years now?
Yeah. So I must have been around 23, 24.
Okay.
And at that same time, I was also head coach of Abbey Park junior team.
Okay. So was coaching something you did just on the side as to stay around in basketball, or was it always I want to keep coaching?
No, this is what I'm doing. When I'm at SLC in practices and I knew my career was tapering off and I couldn't guard anybody anymore, and I was just a corner shooter.
That's like me on 2K.
I knew I knew I was going to coach.
Yeah.
So everything Barry and Kevin said, I was just soaking in, whether they knew it or not. And then my last exit meeting with Barry, he's encouraging me, this is what you should do. He's like, what do you want to do? I was like, can I come be your assistant, blah, blah, blah. But I ended up going home, not returning to SLC the following year. And then I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing. I still talk to them. Me and Kevin text literally every day.
So how long were you playing at SLC?
2.5 years.
And was that I've heard things about that team. Is that a dynasty or what?
And so when I got there,
make sure that mic's just pointed at you. Yeah.
It was good. They were good before
Yeah.
my first freshman year. My first freshman year, the coach at the very first day of training camp, this is the most talent we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. Lots of guys came in. I mean, there's guys who could legit average 15 to 20 in that league that couldn't touch a court in our first tournament. We had 17 guys playing in Gatineau. I remember we were playing St. Foy in another school. Dave Smart was in the stands. Okay. I check into the game in garbage time. We're up 20 or 30. The worst game of my career. I'll never forget that. But there was so much talent.
You still won that game.
Yeah, we won that game.
Okay.
But there was so much talent on that team. Like we had, by the end of the year, we finished with 8 guys.
Yeah.
So 11 or 9 quit, failed out, whatever it is. Guys who are starting with the 8 guys were like borderline OCAA All-Stars or
Yeah.
OCAA All-Stars. Some of those guys were coming off the bench in the preseason tournament.
Yeah.
Like that team was super stacked for an OCAA team.
But like everyone that left the team, no one was getting picked up to play somewhere else. They were all just
No.
it was just
The guys who ended up going on were the guys who stayed. There's a
Yeah.
couple guys who did transfer and go to other schools, but nothing like that. Like there's Jazz here who's now playing pro. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he's about to play in the basketball tournament with India Rising Stars
Oh,
in
okay.
a couple days. So there's lots of talent. Another guard the second year, Mike James. He's playing in the Philippines right now, playing pro.
Mike James. That's not.
Mike Soy. He goes by
Okay.
Mike James. His last name is Soy.
Oh, okay. Because there's another. I think
He's an
there's-
Ottawa guy.
I got you. So then we do Burlington. You had your time over at SLC, and then I think the breakout season, I guess, if you will, for your coaching career is that inaugural season with Burloak.
Yes, yeah.
So there was probably what I would want to say at least a dozen brand new teams last year in prep.
Oh yeah.
Like first year programs, there's rep teams converting to prep teams. What was your reasonable expectation for your first year program at Burloak?
We were going to be good.
Also, just it's a local team. You have to drive to get there. You
Yeah.
go to school at a local high school here. There was no housing, so you were stuck with
Like a 15-mile radius of recruiting.
like if you're willing to drive, like that's your player pool. And meanwhile, there's we're here at the Burlington Playground where New Horizon is.
Yeah.
They have a similar situation where they're all local guys, and you also have players from here that go on to different prep programs, right? So it's like you have a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a player pool. So what was a reasonable expectation for that team?
We're going to be good. I know the guy. You know, I'm a psychopath in
Yeah.
basketball. Like every time I get a team, I think we're going to be good.
Yeah.
That's just the way I have to be. That's the way I'm wired. I knew the guys coming in that we were recruiting. So when we first started it, I had my own whiteboard list. It was like 40 names long in my room.
I've seen it.
Of-
Oh, in your room?
Yeah.
I've seen the one at the facility. That was also
Oh,
a
yeah.
psychopath playboy.
It is what it is. I had my targets. There's a couple guys I've only been in the Halton high school scene for like 3 or 4 years, so I didn't know everybody. I knew most guys. There's a couple guys we missed, like Dom and Augustus. They
Yeah.
flipped through the cracks that
Yeah.
weren't on the list, but those guys are phenomenal players, obviously, at New Horizon here.
Yeah.
D1 looks. Outside of that, we got most of the top guys in Halton that we wanted from
Yeah.
Ish, David, Burhan, Nate, Steph. The list goes on. And I know those guys well. I'm obviously missing a bunch of names. Don't kill me, guys.
Yeah.
I can't name all 15 of you, but all of you guys were really good, and I knew what you guys were capable of. The biggest thing that I get when I talk to college coaches or other coaches, you guys don't have size. You don't have the athleticism to win. But these guys grind. They defend. They pick up 94 feet. They shoot the ball. They share the ball. When you have guys like that, you can win basketball games. That's the bottom line.
I just have a hard time, like, I believe that you guys were going to be good.
Yeah.
But, like, when you're talking about just the geography of it and just the logistics of these are going to be a lot of guys that, had Burloak not existed, we're not going to play prep.
Probably.
So you still
Yeah.
gun to your head, this team's going to be good.
No, they're going to be good. They are good.
Yeah, well,
okay.
I mean, they ended up being good.
Yeah. Well, I'll maybe say every other gym I go to, someone comes up, you're doing a phenomenal job with these
Yeah.
guys, and they'll just grind my teeth. Like,
Yeah.
you need to give these kids credit. They're good.
Yeah.
Where were they before me? They're winning Halton. They're in the finals of Halton. They're in OFSA.
Yeah.
It's not easy to get to OFSA.
Right.
Like, I know OFSA's watered down now with prep, but it's still not easy to get there. You got to go through Halton, win it. You got to go to GHAC, win it, which is the top Hamilton schools. Then you're in OFSA.
So you recruit this team that you know it's going to be good right away. What are you looking for in those players that you're recruiting at that point?
Number one thing, can you guard?
Yeah.
You have to guard if you want to win.
Right.
Can you make decisions? Are you a good person off the court, on the court? Those
Yeah.
are like my 3 factors. Coach Chris has his
One more
factors.
time.
Can you defend? Can you make decisions? Good person on and off the court. And the third one there,
He just told you the answer to the test, by the way. Okay.
the third one is massive.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to roll your eyes, hang your head when you're subbed out, if you're going to show up to practice and mope because you lost a drill and now you got to run, whatever it is, I don't want you around.
Bro.
Like it's killing our culture. It's killing everything.
That last one's really important because it's Pittsburgh, right? That we were at.
Yeah.
And I got to substitute coach.
Oh, yeah.
That was, dude, I had the team on autopilot. We had what, 5 guys, or no, we had 6.
Six.
We had 1 sub. We had Isaiah, who was on a bum ankle that wanted to keep playing.
Same with Josh.
Yeah. So yeah, Josh. Yeah. But Josh was like, he was shut down proper.
Yeah.
Isaiah was like, yo, you can put me in like,
No.
3, 4.
Good
No.
luck never talking to Ryerson again if you
Ex-
put him in with the bum ankle.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to say I saved his career, but I might just save his career. No, I'm kidding.
What did you think coaching them? I want to know.
Dude, coaching them was the easiest thing in the world.
That's what I tell everybody.
Easiest thing in the world. I mean, I think you're giving yourself not enough credit because you have to get them to that point where they're receptive to coaching, where, like the first thing they're doing in their warm-ups, I don't even talk to them, just like let them go, right? I don't want to make a big deal of it. There is 1 minute 2 left. I know David's like the talkative sort of motivational type of like leader in that team. So I tell David, bring him in at 1.5 minutes, whatever. They come in and I said, guys, look, you know more about your team than I do. You know your plays. I don't know your plays. I just want you guys to give me respect. I'm not going to give you a lot of criticism. I'm not going to give you a lot of coach notes, but if I say something, please just apply.
Yeah.
Right. And my only thing was like, we have 6 guys, play slow. Right.
Yeah.
Like you guys, I don't want to see a press right away. It's like, to me, the game is winnable if it's within 7 with 3-4 minutes left to go. And that's our win. So we get onto this, obviously we got into this huge lead because these guys are just shot out of a cannon. They're running all these sets. I don't even know what's going on. Like it's just, Dietrich had a great game too. Underrated player on that squad. And, we got this big lead and they start chopping into the lead a little bit. I'm like, okay, well, I'm like, we're still within my margin. My margin is -7. Like if we're within set, we're good. Yeah. So we're up, I think it was like 15 to like Hupple or something like that. And then they blow the lead and I'm not calling a timeout because I'm like, we're on pace. I'm not calling a timeout in the first quarter, right? Yeah. But like, regardless, I think we lost that game by like a buzzer beater.
It was a buzzer. I was watching in the hotel room.
Yeah.
I was texting James, the assistant on the bench, like everything, and which I shouldn't be doing because I hate when people use their phone on the bench.
Yeah.
But like I couldn't help myself. And I remember that buzzer beater's justice on the left side of the floor, inbounding across.
Right.
And that shot looked so good.
Yeah, it looked fine. Well, because the thing is, we had a whole play drawn up thinking that we're going to inbound the ball at the half court.
Oh, yeah, the American
and then
is different.
they go full court. So I was just like, well,
hey, can't advance it in the
good luck, boys. You're on your own again for this one. But no, back to that team. It's like they get to that point because they were coached well to be receptive to coaching, and no, the group of guys, which again, your point number 3 is be a good person on off the court. Like that gets you a lot further because you could have given me 5 all-stars, like athletic jumping out the gym, but whatever. I don't think we get within 2 points of that game. You know what I mean? Like they have to be able to follow a game plan. They have to be disciplined, and like no one fouled out either.
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah. Though that's one of the lucky things I have too is they have such high basketball IQs for teenagers. Normally you don't see that all the time. So I can do whatever X's and O's I want. Offense, defense. Like our scouting reports for AAU go like this long.
Yeah.
Some teams don't even have that for prep or like college basketball, right?
Yeah.
So I'm lucky where these guys, I can go at midnight 2 days or a day before a game, put together a game plan, the direction we're going to force the player, what we're doing 1 passes away, 2 passes away, ball screen coverage, left side, middle, right side, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they're going to follow it perfectly. Obviously, there's a couple hiccups here and there, but there's hiccups in the NBA.
Yeah,
right?
no, so, I mean, I wouldn't call them hiccups. I mean, a hiccup is if they keep messing up over and over and over again. Yeah. Because you have to give them a mistake, right? But no, those kids, easy.
Exactly.
Steve, when the throughout the season, you guys you're upsetting some teams, to the eyes of the public. Burloak's not supposed to win against big teams. You've had good performances against, I think Lincoln was the worst shooting performance I've ever seen. Sorry to bring that up.
Second worst.
Yeah,
it got worse. LBA 4 for 40 from 3.
Yeah. So there's these big games where you guys are just an uncharacteristic shooting game away from winning those games. Did you hear murmurs of interest from teams, or did you think, okay, maybe? Like I would assume the original plan for Burloak was you're probably going to be there for a while.
Yeah. No, I had no plans to leave.
Yeah. So then when did it take Fort Erie coming out of the woodwork to make you think about it, or did you hear stuff prior?
Yeah, Fort Erie was the one that like everyone knows about Fort Erie.
Yeah.
I didn't know everything about Fort Erie, but I knew the gist. I talked to Charles like a little bit the year before in the summer. He watched one of my AU games and we just chopped it up after. Nothing crazy. Before the Fort Erie phone call, it was like a couple other rumblings of Here, I didn't really have much interest because I hear
Yeah.
things from people that I trust that
Yeah.
are not things I want to be a part of in a program, whether it's education or housing or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Fort Erie one, when I got the messages and the phone call, I listened, did my homework. I think they did their homework too.
Yeah.
And then it just went from there.
Yeah. Because I was the biggest Steve Houston cheerleader advocate. They're
Appreciate
probably what. Yeah. No. I mean, no. You did the work. But yeah, because the coaching journey versus a player's journey, like you still have to find a program, just like these players have to find a program. But there's one coach versus 15 players.
Yeah.
How challenging? I mean, I feel like you've gone through the motions pretty quickly, but how challenging has it been to rise?
Well, that's a big thing too. Like how fast this is going right now is crazy. Like it still hasn't even hit me.
Yeah.
The last couple of years, but challenge-wise, like I didn't know. Someone told me a few months ago, someone high up in like the basketball ranks, you got to put together your portfolio with everything you're doing on offense and defense. I was like, so coaches are making mixtapes? Is that what we're doing here? I
New
didn't
market.
Yeah. So I didn't know that part. I wasn't looking to leave, like you said. And then they just approached me, and that's how it happened. Like I thought I was gonna, like me and Chris talk all the time. We were talking about our plans for Burloak for the next year, who we're gonna go after, and then the Fort Erie thing just popped up. It wasn't like I was putting together something to leave or the challenges of what I had looking for a new home or whatever it is. Like I was parked, I was ready. It's 10 minutes from where I live in Oakville. So I thought I had the dream, and then I listened. I wasn't like searching for anything else, but I listened, and Fort Erie is just crazy, man. Like Fort Erie is different.
Yeah.
Like it's different. If you've been, I know you've been there. Like if you see Fort Erie, the best way I can describe it is just different.
Yeah.
Than everything in Canada has. It's literally a D1 school in Canada for high school prep.
Yeah. No, I got that tour, and it was the things that they're working on over there, like full on theater room kind of thing. Like it's impressive. But when you're in Burloak, I know you have a major role in the coaching operation side of things, but you have this massive crutch with Chris Denley, who's expert at just getting people into the gym, making practices happen, making gym time happen, all that stuff, right? So like all the logistics and a lot of the basketball as well, you had Chris to lean back on, which I'm sure that you would have found him helpful. But now when you're in Fort Erie, it's like the training wheels are kind of off, right?
Yeah.
What have been some challenges you faced already just going into Fort Erie? I'd imagine recruiting.
Well, first of all, like nothing happens without Chris at Burloak. He is the most go-getter, like get something done where you think it's not going to get done or you have your doubts. No doubts, I'm going to get it done. Like from the very beginning, getting Evan Ross.
Can I pause you for a second too? Because Burloak started during, I think it definitely took off during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was talks about it before the pandemic. I think it was like an idea prior to the pandemic, and then the pandemic happens and it just, everything's on fire, right? And I remember because I was working with Chris in Burlington as well, and I would just like be on these phone calls with Chris, and he's just like, yeah, we were gonna start a new program, blah blah. It's gonna be, you know, and then he goes off. It's gonna be rep AAU. It's gonna be rep. It's gonna be 3-on-3 league. It's gonna be house league. It's gonna be all these things. I'm like, you want to do one of those things first? Like, no, but we got time. We got this. We got that. And I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, there's just no way. I'm just going to focus on, making a little website, making sure the registration works. We'll do a couple camps, and then next year we'll do 3-on-3, and then maybe in 5 years we'll do. It's all going, and that's because of Chris. That's because it's just.
It went from that to prep to a 3-court facility with everything you need in a weight room and everything in between. It's like, wow.
Coaching staff, training staff. You got the little kids playing. You got the rep, and this is within a year. That happens. Like it's been going like that for a year now, right? So it's like, shout out to him because that's insane.
I know. Everything you need, he would get for me to be successful as a coach. Like if I want some X's and O's $100 package on halfcourthoops.com or whatever it is, he'd take my credit card, go buy it, study.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that was fantastic.
But so the question was like, what have the challenges have been since, moving on from that sort of ecosystem to one where you're probably responsible for making things happen yourself?
Yeah. So, well, AAU helped prepare because like I've been a head coach high school in AAU. So that's like the coaching side of things is fine. Now it's like all the other stuff, the operations behind the scenes and getting the right tournaments for everybody and the right scheduling and just all that stuff. Like the on-court stuff is so easy. Like it just if you've been around basketball and you work hard enough, that stuff just comes natural. It's more like, I don't know how to word it, just the basketball operation stuff. That's the stuff that you got to take
like
care of.
the day-to-day logistical
The
stuff.
prep coach is not an easy thing. Like there's a lot of things behind the scenes that you got to take care of as a prep coach to run a successful program, and that's why you see all these new schools coming up and all these new schools going away.
Yeah, it's like because they'll have a group of guys that's easy to manage, and then when it comes to having a new batch, it's include. How did you find the recruiting process?
With Fort Erie, right?
Yeah,
social media is everything.
yeah,
So I'm lucky where I'm still young enough and kind of in the know of how these kids act. It's obviously the generations get different and more different and crazier, but I'm still in the know with how like they communicate. Like if you go through email, you might get a response once a week. If I DM them on IG, 2 minutes later, I know their phone's in their hand. So I just went through Instagram for most of it, or I went through people who I know. Charles and Cav, the assistant coach at Fort Erie, awesome, the most helpful people. They'll take kids on visits when I'm not around at Fort Erie because I'm not living there yet, or I'll drive up and then I'll take a guy on a visit. So it's communicate with them, communicate with the parents, tell them what Fort Erie is about, what our schedule is about, what our development's about, what our exposure is about, the tools to help you, the private school education, the food, the housing, and then get you on a visit. And every time someone has came on a visit to Fort Erie, never knock off the player.
It's been quick business ever since, right? So so you didn't find the recruitment aspect of it that challenging?
It is challenging, but I knew what I was signing up for.
Yeah.
There's no surprises.
You have to balance a budget. Like you probably didn't have to do that in Burloak, right? Like it was just sort of like, Chris can take care of that, or the money stuff is like out of my purview. But now it's like, there's a lot of things there's a lot of moving parts.
The thing about Burloak is they have like the rep side and the training side to fall back on, where other prep teams, they don't have that. Like the budget is just prep. You got to make it work with prep. With Burloak, they had fallbacks and things like that with rep and training and things like that to make sure everything stays afloat and everything's good to go.
Right. Just want to make sure. I can't really see the camera with this new setup, so but we're still going. So yeah, you have the support system in Burloak to keep the program afloat, regardless of dollars and cents, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So for Fort Erie, now we're getting into a little bit of a tougher segment. I need to put you on the grill a little bit.
Okay.
Fort Erie International Academy last year. Leonard Miller, Jaden Clayton, Weebly, Sharma. Everyone knows that team. They won OSBA. They're decent in the grind session. They had an NBA prospect on their team. They made a huge stamp, right?
Yep.
Now they're FEIA Red, and now you're FEIA. How do you convince players that this is not a number 2 team?
Going back to your challenges question, that was a big thing. Everyone is regional team, high school team, team 2. No. Charles and Cav and the Fort Erie staff, build this team as strong as you can, build this team as strong as you can.
Right.
You have the freedom to be you. We're not going to micromanage you. So I communicated that with the players. Obviously, OSBA is a
but
huge
it's
thing.
hard. Like, sorry to cut you off, but like it's hard for a player to grasp that, because like I know there's a million number 2 teams. There's like, I don't want to throw any teams under the bus, but like there's multiple programs with multiple teams.
Exactly.
So it's like, and usually that other team, I'm trying to say 2 team, but the other team doesn't do as well as the big team. So you have to understand where they're coming from when they're kind of hesitant. Yeah,
and there's definitely been some guys who just stayed closed-minded about it that I've talked to that weren't open to the idea. My thing was I got to lock in the guys early.
Yeah.
So once I lock in certain guys, like guys that have been in a Team Canada camp, guys who played in the EYBL or something like that, show that they're on this team and we're coming to have big goals, not just develop an exposure, but also win and be competitive. Once I got the first couple guys locked in, then it just snowball effect.
Were you going for players that could fit a certain mold play style wise, or are you just going best available?
To a certain extent.
Yeah.
Obviously, you need like the certain intangibles like defending and stuff. But with this team, I think you're going to see a lot of shooting, just because the size is hard to come by. As far as I know, a lot of teams are struggling to find bigs.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Our thing is, I'm sure you've heard that.
Oh yeah.
Wes and everybody's probably heard that 1,000 times. Do you have any bigs I can look at?
Yeah. There's...
And I'm guilty of asking that too.
Yeah. Well.
But once you kind of see the mold of every other team that's coming into the season, you go your direction. And for me, it's shooting is the ultimate equalizer in 2022 basketball.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of that. And now we've also got a little bit of size coming in too.
Okay.
So at first it was looking like we're switch everything, play super fast, small ball team.
You're right.
We'll still get into that a little bit, but now we've got a little more size and athleticism coming in.
Right.
So we can balance it how we need to balance it. And I'm super excited for this group. I know Charles is super excited for our group. He thinks that we've got a team that can compete.
Right.
Obviously, I'm a psychopath, so I think we're going to win nationals.
That's what I wanted to ask you.
We're going to win everything we go into.
Hold on. Relax. What is a reasonable goal for next season for FEIA?
Win the first game of the season. That's my goal.
Yeah.
Logically speaking, to your question, get to the OSBA Final 8 from Pool B. We don't have an opportunity to play in the play-in tournament because all the new schools coming to the OSBA are dropped into Pool B.
Yeah.
The returning schools that aren't in the top 4 playing, top 4 schools, Pool A.
Yeah.
So for the guys who don't know how the OSBA is going to work, top 4 in each division of Pool B play each other 1 through 4.
Yeah.
The winners of those games, they'll play the bottom 4 from Pool A.
Yeah.
Best 2 out of 3, whoever wins that series.
That's 2 out of 3. That's cool.
That's music to my ears.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing more I love than a series of adjustments.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm watching NBA playoffs, man, I'm just like, what can we tweak here? What can we do here? Rotation, ball screen, whatever it is. I can't wait for that second game.
Yeah.
If we're lucky enough to get there.
So if you beat we're going way ahead. If you beat the Pool A teams, the bottom Pool A teams, do you get a chance, a crack at?
Yeah.
Higher?
No.
Okay.
Do you go to the Final 8?
Okay, so the Final 8 is just it's a mixture. It could be all Pool A teams. It could be
it could be the 80 teams in Pool A.
So there's a world where you play FEIA Red.
Yeah. Me and Charles have had very, very brief conversation. That's obviously way ahead. We've got to win our first game of the season, our first possession of the game.
Yeah.
But if that does happen, we've talked. And we won't talk for a week or something like that.
Yeah. Just gotta keep. Yeah, because you guys are both a little.
Yeah.
You guys are both very in deep when it comes to the X's and O's. So I could see that being a lot of fun.
We're gonna work together all year long, but if we end up playing each other, it'll be fun because we're gonna scrimmage all the time throughout the year, controlled scrimmages and things like that. We'll know each other very well, but it's kind of similar to what just happened in the MPH league, right?
Yeah.
Burloak versus Burloak, we practice together all the time, and now we're playing against each other in the gold medal game of the grade 12 division. Yeah. Also, shout out to Burloak. I know some people were complaining about too many Burloak teams in the grade 12 division. That was the icing on the cake.
There was a world where one of those Burloak teams was going to be a Eskandy Elite.
Oh, I know.
if they gave you the name change.
Yeah.
Next year.
We were going to change our team name just to not have 3 Burloak teams in that division. But me and Chris said before that season started, there's probably receipts somewhere in our phone.
Yeah.
Since all these people are complaining, we're going to meet in the finals. All we need to do is get on the opposite sides of the bracket in the playoffs. And we were on the same side of the bracket till some point differential, some tiebreaker dropped them down to 6. So they got the opposite side of the bracket. We were on the other side, and we took care of business.
So Chris's team was 6th?
They were 6th in the regular season.
That's Waco, Nate.
Yeah, Luke.
Oh, wow. That's not a 6 seed.
No, but they had banged up. They had guys in and out with travel, and some guys had to go home for the summer. They dealt with a lot of adversity.
So going back to you want to win the first game, win the first possession. Mm-hmm. I know you're crazy. Do you have in mind what that first set of the year is going to be? I feel like
I have like 75 different things. I have an idea. It's going to be. I don't want to.
In your head, you're like playing it over. You're like, okay, maybe all these screens right here.
Do you think the first team that we have a Fort Erie tournament end of September? I don't know if I'll have a game before that.
Dog, no one's going to scout this. Maybe.
It's going to be a lob. I'll tell you that.
Oh.
I'm not going to say how it's coming or who it's going to, but it's going to be something that a certain NBA coach runs. Yeah. That I stole. That we have some success. We run it like once a month out of a timeout or to start the third quarter of every game.
Regardless, the fact that you have that in your mind already, like.
I guess that was a trick question, I guess.
No. I just knew that once you have a good idea what the roster is going to look like, the next thing is how we're going to play, and you're like, okay, you want to win the first game. So if you want to win the first game, you probably know what your plays are going to be.
I have an idea.
You have an idea.
If you know me, you know the first play of the game is always something like. It's just something that could look aesthetically pleasing to show that these guys can play in a system, play in a set, so they can move on to the next level.
Right. I don't want to get you any hot water, but like we said, you've been moving really quickly up the coaching tree. Mm-hmm. What do you envision being, your end goal when it comes to coaching? And, do you still, you must feel like you still have more work to do, obviously.
Yeah, no. I've actually been asked that question like 4 or 5 times in the last couple months. Yeah. I don't have a good answer anytime. Yeah. Like, I just stay open-minded, stay in the moment. My phone is open, Charles, and those guys have said if anything does pop up, we'll be happy for you. We'll take you out for dinner. We'll celebrate.
Right.
And that's like music to my ears because you don't want to be somewhere you feel like you're held hostage.
Right.
But at the same time, like Fort Erie is amazing.
Yeah. No, it's a great situation. But
I could see myself there for a long time.
Right. But when you're kicking on the couch and you're just like, okay, I've got everything made, everything went the way it's supposed to. Are you a head coach at like a D1 or youth sports or the NBA or like overseas?
I've thought about having my own like D1 program, whether it's like a low major, mid major, just running it the way you want to run it. I want to test myself as far as I can go at the highest level versus the best of the best, and then probably take a step back and come back to where, because like I got into this to help people in my situation.
Right.
I was a Halton high school basketball player.
Right.
0 people helped me with my recruiting.
Yeah.
I didn't have a trainer. I didn't have a big brother or a coach I could look up to. There were some people who were like great, like some high school coaches that were really good, but I did deal with a lot of coaches I didn't necessarily say would have my best interest for me.
Right.
I respect that they take the time out of their day to help whoever it is, not their children, like volunteer coaches. But I didn't have someone to help guide me to get to the next level. I did everything on my own, and it was a shit show, if we're being honest.
Right.
Sending emails to colleges and like, hey, this is my mini mix. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Halton Tier 2 high school basketball at Abbey Park.
Right. So eventually you want to be able to come back here and set something up more organized.
Like that's why I love Berlo, because these guys, I tell them my phone is open 24/7.
Yeah.
Call me, text me, message me.
Yeah.
Get your stuff on Twitter. Whatever you need, I'll help you. I'll send it out to coaches. Whatever you need, I'm here. If you need help breaking down your film, whatever it is, how to communicate with a coach, things like that. Like that's why I started. Help you from point A to point B in your career.
What are you most excited about heading into this year? Just being competitive or
being in the OSBA? I think that's fun because you get synergy, you get all that stuff to mess
oh
around with.
my god, this guy with synergy.
Yeah, like I don't know if you know me, like 4 a.m. I'm on YouTube, just like watching a random game. Like I was watching Halton High School basketball game from 2020 last night on Mix 6 YouTube channel. Just like didn't know one player on the floor. So to have synergy and just a deep dive in stats and film on teams that are my actual competition, that'll be fun.
For people that don't know, synergy is like this database that it's used from the NBA to youth sports and leagues around the world. I think the NBL has it. And it just breaks down every single play that happens in a game, and then you're able to download that game. It's for coaches and scouts and whatever, and it has obscure stats like what this player shoots off of pin downs type of stuff. So yeah, for a basketball nut job, that's going to be.
It's nice to not have to do that like manually. I have that automatic. Like when I'm scouting teams or players on other teams getting ready to put together a scouting report, like I'll count your dribbles in your left hand to your crossover your right hand and what you do when you cross over to your weak hand and what your tendencies are. So to have something like coming off a pin down, do you shoot it or what percentage you shoot from the left side, right side of the floor? Like that just saves so much time.
What do you want to improve on this year? Is there like an area of your coaching game that you want to address this year and that you want to keep getting better at?
Like everything. Everything. Always trying to get better. I think a lot of problems with people my age or people around my age with coaches is they're not open-minded enough to understand that there's still so much to learn, and a lot of them think. Like I've been there, I've done that in college. I know how to run a team when we don't. I was like that a few years ago.
Right.
I thought I was going to be that genius.
Yeah.
So I just had to take a step back, stay open-minded, soak in. You can learn from idiots. You can learn from geniuses. You just got to keep an open mind. As far as improving on certain things, it's everything. Like running a practice, communicating, ATOs, drawing up so players can understand perfectly, managing a schedule, load management, everything. Just everything. Got to get better every day or else you're going to get stuck in your ways and the game's going to pass you.
Right.
Like if you watch basketball 20 years ago, if you watch a spacing 25 years ago, there's 4 guys in the paint and a point guard dribbling up top, sometimes 5 guys.
Yeah.
The defensive coverages change all the time. The way people
a lot
communicate.
more bigs back then.
Yeah, 2 bigs, 3 bigs.
Yeah, we don't even have 3 bigs.
The way coaches communicated with players then versus now is different. And I would say that's a problem where you see some older coaches that they can't communicate with the younger generation. And I've talked to some older coaches who say, like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Right.
Because it's just so hard to communicate. I mean, Jay Wright, Villanova,
Yeah.
NIL deal.
Yeah.
I don't think he wanted to have much involvement with that sort of thing. So it's just, staying open-minded. You have to stay open-minded and ready to evolve. That's my opinion. Some people might have different opinions.
We started the podcast off with how limited you were in terms of player pool and all that stuff when you're in Burloak. Now that you're at Fort Erie, you have the keys, you have housing, you have meal plans, you have whatever budget, and you have the name. Do you feel, in a sense, a little bit more pressure going into that situation as opposed to underdog, no one knows who we are type of role?
Yeah.
Burloak.
Yeah, but pressure's good.
Yeah.
Basketball pressure, it's good. I like it. It's not like real world pressure where you're trying to pay a bill or something. It's the pressure of last shot,
Right.
7 seconds left, down 2, quick timeout. What am I drawing up? And we kind of have a target on our back because it's Fort Erie. I like that kind of pressure. That's fun to me.
It's Fort Erie. You also had to go on this campaign, sort of, letting people know that this isn't just a 2 team. This is a legit program. So now you have to back it up, and you have the resources to do it. But
it's funny that we got the name.
Yeah,
like we're the Fort Erie International Academy.
I still want to understand what happened. I still feel like that's just you.
It was honestly super easy. They're super helpful. Anything I need to be successful, they will do their best to give it to me.
Sharma.
Oh man, he's got a clip. That kid's work ethic is unbelievable. I've been in a couple workouts at Fort Erie with him.
Yeah,
just unbelievable. He has a super
if there's a
bright
4-point line, he would have been hitting it too.
Yeah, I know. If that comes in the next 10 years, first overall pick.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Steve, best of luck. I have no doubt that the season's going to go your way this year, and happy to see what you do at Fort Erie. And thank you for taking the time, guys. You got to subscribe. We're really close to 1K. We're at 1K. You better believe I'm going to infiltrate this program with as many ads as possible to pay for these microphones. But other than that,
subscribe.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Steve.
No problem.